The Dallas Mavericks have a good problem. Yes, let me repeat. The Dallas Mavericks have a good problem. You might be like, what's a good problem? We don't understand what that means. Everyone's been dogging the Mavs, right? After the loss yesterday, right? But they actually have a good problem. And that's what I'm here to tell you guys. Enjoy. So, yesterday, the Dallas Mavericks played in their season debut, right? And this was Cooper Flag's um, debut, AD's debut, everybody's debut, D'Lo's debut. And after the game, the coach said, Jason Kidd has said, hey, some days we're going to have D'Lo off the bench. Some days it's going to be the sixth man. Some days it's going to be the seventh man. Some days he might be the eighth man, right? But I watched the last game of preseason. I watched their preseason game, and I noticed something. I said, they got a lot of great players, right? So this is going to be what's called a good problem. So this is before last night's game, and they lost, right? Because everybody's looking at the loss and the score, but they're not paying attention. I paid attention in preseason, and I paid attention last night. They have a lot of good problems, right? Unlike the Lakers or like some other teams like the Clippers, I don't know what happened in that game. I didn't even know Kawhi played. That was bad, right? Unlike those teams that I just listed that have some big problems that they need to fix, the Mavericks actually have a lot of good problems, and I'm going to explain that in this video. So starting with Cooper Flag, you got a rookie who's very anticipated, high prospect. He has now come into the league, and now he's playing the point guard position, right? And he's big, he's like 6'8", so he can play the point guard. And you also got Klay Thompson, who I did not know played too. He played. And you also got AD. And you got Kyrie, who's injured. So as a coach, you have a lot of good things to work with. You're on like 2K right now. You're like, dang, how do I put this together? How do I fix this, right? So as a coach, this is like, man, like lots of people have said in the past about the Lakers when they coach the Lakers and they got all these all-stars and superstars. Like, man, this is going to be fun. But as a coach, you got to learn to put all this together. And that's going to be the hard part. But it's also fun, too. But that's why I call it a good problem, right? So while everybody's, Wemby and all that, right? Everybody's talking bad about the Mavs. I'm going to be the one to tell you guys what I've already foreseen in the past before this came, right? And that's that they have a lot of good problems, bro. That's like 5 players I just named to you guys that, you got to learn to put it together. And that's why I have them at the 5th or 6th seed, right? I'm not saying they're going to make the Western Conference Finals. I have Adam Silver already showed us who's going to be in the Western Conference Finals game 1. OKC and the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant will lead the Houston Rockets to the Western Conference Finals. Shea Alexander Jr. and the rest of the team that Sam Presti built from the draft like you're supposed to. Didn't make all these different trades and everything. Those 2 teams will face off in the Western Conference Finals later on in this season, right? Book it. As far as like the other games that I've seen, like Russ, Lonzo, everybody, right? Everybody's just worried about the stats, right? And Laker fans and everyone on Twitter just always got to troll, Russ. And it's like, you like to see Russ happy. You like to see Russ play. And, he almost didn't make it to the season, right? They almost booked him in China. He could have got paid a lot of good money, but he can obviously still play. He can still produce, right? Everyone's just focused on all the negative and all the bad things he do, right? There's people trolling, right? But Russ, I'm happy for us, right? Believe it or not, I actually am very happy for us. And I watched the Kings game, Kings versus Suns specifically for that, right? Watching a whole bunch of other things too, and doing other things. But I was able to try to watch a lot of that game and see Russ play, and I'm happy for him. I did watch the Cavs and Knicks game. Cino is a big Knicks hater, so Lonzo was just, I don't know, like he was right on that. He said Lonzo was just taking a lot of 3. Lonzo's trying to find his rhythm, coming off a lot of major injuries, not being able to walk a lot of times. It was just probably a lot for him. So I think he's just trying to find his way and find his comfortability, and also trying to find his role, like on his 3rd new team now, right? I think he has to have that playmaker role, and you have Donovan Mitchell so great. So, you got to slide him to the 2 if you're going to have Lonzo out there. You can't make Lonzo into something he's not. You can't try to make him into the Bulls tried to do that. Other teams did that. Lonzo Ball is a playmaker, as we all seen, right? He has the IQ. He put him out there for defense and all that. Make him who he is, right? I watched that game. Cino obviously is a Pistons fan, so I watched his live and then I watched the game, and they were down a lot, so I was like, oh, it's gonna be a good video, obviously, right? But they came back surprisingly. I seen the highlights this morning, and they came back, and I was like, wow, But a lot of great games yesterday. Uh, Some will probably even say I overreacted the other day when I reacted to the Lakers. Like, I haven't watched it back yet, but it's just the truth, right? We'll see what they do moving forward. I know people say like, "Oh, it's only one game. Can't react over one game." They tell us the same thing every year, but they don't realize that team keep making the same mistakes. Maybe it's them. But with this whole gambling thing that just happened, breaking news. Everyone was just joking, trolling, like Aiden must have put the under this player. They're basically saying their favorite player on their team who played bad game one, basically saying they must be in investigation too because they played bad. So they must be betting on themselves. You can't. The internet doesn't take nothing serious, as we all know, right? This is a serious situation, and people are trolling about it, like, dude. But yeah, that's the news today. The NBA talk. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, if you have a favorite team and they stressing you out, or if you like basketball like I do, just watch other teams, right? They're far more entertaining. Like I said, I get joy from watching other teams. There's nothing wrong with that, right? The Lakers, when they get their act together, I'll be back on this. No, but for real, if you guys enjoy one more talk, let me know. Like I said, we got the case coming up, so whenever I see anything on that, other great YouTubers you guys can subscribe and watch that are covering the case and all that. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'm out.